Hey everyone, welcome back. This is a video that I really didn't want to have to make. I like to have positivity and always try to promote the game, but the game is in such a bad spot right now. I feel like I have to try to say something here. I know right now there's a lot of issues in the Go Battle League, things that haven't been resolved or even acknowledged for months, if not years at this point, and I think we're reaching a breaking point where GBL really is getting to a very unplayable point where we need to see Niantic step in, acknowledge the problems, and start fixing the game. Right now, we've been seeing an uptick in complete game freezes in GBL. You can probably see in this background footage here just how many of these games that people have submitted to me where they just instantly lose the game, because right when you get into the battle, for some reason the game just freezes up, you both get a loss, both you and your opponent, and that's not the only bug, but is one of the worst bugs to have right now in the game, and it hasn't even been acknowledged yet by Niantic. It's been impacting trainers for months now, and it's not getting any better. We only have 25 battles a day. Having even a single battle out of those 25, be just taken away from us like that, it is terrible. It is one of our only ways to practice this game. If you don't have friends to train with, then it is almost impossible to get better when you know that this is your only chance you have to play. The 25 game limit is really limiting us, and when we don't even have the chance to play those 25 games, for real, it is so hard to get better, to have fun, and to grow this game. Not to mention Android frame drops. If you guys don't know what this is, Android devices right now have a very high chance every single match to have these horrible frame drops where you might miss bubbles when you're doing charge moves, where you might miss turns when you're just tapping and the screen just suddenly freezes. It is not great. It happens a lot. It happens to me a lot on stream in my gameplay that I showcase. And it is such a big problem. I don't know why it hasn't been fixed. I don't know why it hasn't been acknowledged yet. It is not getting any better. It really turns a lot of people off of the game. If you can't use your regular phone to play this game, which is what it's supposed to be, Pokemon Go is supposed to be very accessible to just, pick up, download from the App Store, and start playing the game. If you have to buy the top-of-the-line phone, if you want to even have a chance to play this game, and you have to buy an Apple phone at that, then it makes it very hard for anyone to take this game seriously. And it's not just Androids that have these kinds of game-breaking problems. There's other issues in the game, too, that affect every device. The one-turn lag that might come in when your Pokemon faints and you bring in your next Pokemon, that is going to be a huge thing that we need to get fixed before Worlds. If not, there's going to be a lot of games that might be disputed because of this. When that happens, you can't guarantee a CMP at the end of the game. You might be denied a turn, so you won't be able to get a sneak that you're supposed to have. It is a game-altering bug that absolutely needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed soon. Debuff text as well has been very broken for many months now, and it hasn't been fixed, it hasn't been acknowledged. We need it to be able to be evident when a debuff happens. You just have to hope that you can see the animation now. Sometimes the text appears, but a lot of the time it doesn't. It makes it very hard to know exactly what's happening in the game. When there's a chance to get a debuff on a move like a Zap Cannon, something like that, it needs to be known for sure whether or not you got that debuff or not. It can change how you're going to play the game, and it is very frustrating when you don't know exactly what's happening in the game. My biggest problem with all of this is that these issues have not been acknowledged or they've been swept under the rug. There is a known issues page for GBL, but that website is kind of a joke. There's a lot of issues here that I've talked about that are marked either as resolved or not even on that list, so that Niantic doesn't know that they exist or they're not even actively working on them. It is ridiculous. These issues have been around for months, if not years for some of them, and these issues have not been resolved in the slightest. I don't know why there's a known issues page if they're not going to actually try to fix it, or if they're just going to lie about having the bugs fixed, but it is not conducive to a competitive environment. And speaking of a competitive environment, Worlds is coming up very soon. It's just about a month away at this point, and we have competitors who are going to be traveling around the world to compete at Worlds, spend a lot of money to go there to play your game, Niantic. We need this game fixed. We want this to be a competitive game where we can grow the scene, have more players see that Pokemon Go isn't just a joke. It's always joked about in the competitive scene right now. We're the tap-tap game. All we do is tap our phones. We don't even make any decisions. Well, obviously we know that's not true, but when we don't even have a game that works all the time, it's really hard for us to stand up for ourselves and refute that claim. And the thing is, these Play Pokemon events, they're basically everything that Niantic as a company always says they want to encourage. You have to catch Pokemon in the wild, you have to trade with your friends to get legendaries to reroll into the under 1500 range to be able to get PvP IV legendaries, and you have to do raids, you have to do every part of the game if you want to be a good PvP player. You have to go around the world here to compete at regionals and then battle trainers around the world at the World Championships. It is literally everything Niantic has ever said they want. We travel the world to play this game. We interact with people. We play the entirety of the game here to make it to Worlds, to become the best of the best. And it should be something that Niantic as a company wants to support. Some of these issues we've been talking about are primarily GBL issues. Sometimes in trainer battles, when you're just fighting a friend, they're not quite as bad. But the thing is, even if GBL is going to be the main problem, that is a main source of practice for a lot of us Worlds competitors. It was my main source of practice last year before I won Worlds, and it is going to be my main source of practice again this year. And the fact that GBL does not work consistently, that there's all of these bugs that are going unaddressed, it is going to make it so many people trying to prepare for Worlds are going to struggle a lot more just because the game does not behave as intended. And some of these bugs are not just GBL exclusives, right? You have the frame drops, you have the one-turn lags. They can impact PvP in the trainer battles as well. This will impact Worlds. This will lead to a lot of disputes, a lot of games where the outcome is determined because of one of these lag factors. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be addressed. Worlds is coming up so soon, and we don't even know if Niantic is aware or if they care about patching these. We need this to be fixed. We need this to be fixed. How are we supposed to grow this game? How am I supposed to recommend this to anyone when I know for a fact that Niantic isn't respecting our time here, where they are letting us play through this broken game and not fixing these bugs? I love this game. This is my favorite game that I've ever played. It's given me so much. I've won Worlds. I've been able to travel the world, make so many friends. This game is amazing. It has so much potential. It can be a pillar of the Play Pokemon franchise along with TCG and VGC. My biggest nightmare is that they go away, that it goes the way of Pokken, that it just kind of gets removed from the competitive circuit. I don't want to see that happen. Niantic, please take Pokemon Go PvP seriously. There is a dedicated community. We can grow this scene. We just need to make sure that the game actually works in the first place here. I've seen so many of my friends, fellow competitors, content creators step down from this game because of the fact that it's so broken. There's been bugs that have been long-standing that have not been fixed, and people have just gotten sick of it. It makes me so sad to see people like Tho Technical step down from the game, not make as much content as they used to, and then some of the best Play Pokemon competitors. The scene, it does see growth, but there's a lot of the best battlers out there that have already retired from the game because the issues here are not getting fixed. Going to a regional, having something out of your control due to lag impact a game, I personally have been very affected by that in the past. It is one of the most frustrating experiences out there. People pay good money to go to these events. They're not cheap, and people take these events so seriously. This is very important to people, and if you have to go to these events and lose games to lag or lose games to things outside of your control because of this, it is so frustrating. I've met so many competitors, not just myself, who have been impacted by lag at these events. I love this game. I love competitive PvP, but having these lag events happen at these big tournaments and making it so all of your money, all of your time you've invested just goes to waste is unacceptable. It is disrespectful to the player base, and it needs to be fixed. I really hate having to be negative here. I like trying to spread positivity in the community. I like growing the game, but I just don't know how I can stay silent right now when I know the game is in a very bad spot and we are heading into one of the biggest tournaments of the entire year. The World Championship is coming up in August, and the game is not in a great state. Niantic, please. I and many other people in this community are asking you, please fix PvP.